right, so we are going on to the second half of the morning session with three speakers: Professor Yao Xinzhong from Renmin University, Beijing, then Michael Pewitt, Harvard University, and Scott Cook, Yale NUS College, Singapore. So without further ado, Professor Yao, the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah, okay, 20 minutes, I know. First, I want to thank the Stefan again for this organizing this kind of international and conference. All of us know this is a hard job. It's really to organize any kind of, the international conference. But they have done a great job. This got so many scholars from far away and here. First, I would want to say this. I'm not a historian, so this is I don't care much about what happened, in history. I'm also not a serious textual scholar. So I'm not like this Professor Cheng, and this carefully studied every word and this kind of thing. I'm this more or less a kind of philosopher, and just try to use whatever I want to use it. This is things, and also this one I doing these kind of things. I really have my mind on the contemporary, what happened, and in a contemporary and context. So I'll start. And from this thinking about this, what happened in China. That is since. So this is the question in my mind when I come up to this kind of paper. This is why should this ritual system require more than just a political authority to be established? So that is these three questions, or in my mind when I came to writing this paper. So this is these three questions, and this is for this kind of to answer these questions. I came up with kind of 5 called key terms, and this is Tian Di and Li and Ben Shun Zhi. These 5 characters or phrases, all these terms, and this I think this I believe they together compose some kind of discourse, and this which would help me to answer my questions. I have this tentative this hypothesis. So I believe that this is to be applied to social and personal life as a social value system, and to have a lasting effect on society, ritual or rites, whatever understood. And must be placed on the metaphysical foundation rather than just manipulations within secular power relations. And the second, it must be justified by being conforming to universal laws rather than just give too much emphasis on the particularity. And the third is it must satisfy the 3 requirements for virtue, timing, and function. So this is my hypothesis, and I try to see if I could establish them or and prove that. So this first is called background. This is a contemporary background. This is I titled this called a new ritual in China today. And I don't know if you are familiar with the China situation, but if you don't, and this I just refresh your memory of this, you forgot this. And this currently I see there are 3 political campaigns. And the first is about ideological controls, and the second anti-corruptions, and the third is managing social stabilities. And one means to all 3 campaigns is they kind of reintroduce or introduce these kind of and ritual-like rules. And new rituals, I call it new rituals or semi-rituals or these pseudo rituals, and that include codes of conduct, regulations, core values, and ceremonies. And the new rituals are the indoctrinate and through official media's education, training programs, and propaganda. and are instituted by party disciplines and political directives. So this is since. So I give you a few pictures, just if you feel too boring. And this is probably ever you have seen this kind of things. You know, this the top these party leaders and this and made solemn this kind of this oath and this refresh this kind of party and this kind of thing. So this is the one from our province, and this actually from my home province. This is called party leaders, and this is come to you can see this they have this kind of series kind of this the face and there, because they really look at this the plant, the tree planted by Xi and 8 years ago. So that is also here. This is amusing these things. And this is suppose this kind of the wedding ceremony that day. But the evening they would not do. They didn't do anything this for the wedding. But they copying this kind of CCP constitutions. So this has become also this kind of in the newspapers, in the social media, has become very widely circulated. And this one is another province. In the hospital, as you can see, this they also and this make the oath this here. So all these kind of things tell us, and this is stories about what happened and it's in China, and this is I call the relevance of rituals. And this is and I give the 3 sections. First is and imagine the 3 stages of this kind of communist China. And this is Mao era, and this Deng era, and the Xi era. And this is the people, they think about this kind of things. And this is how they can do this, becoming strong. This in today. And this really look at the past for inspirations. 2, and one is called revolutionary traditions, and this particularly refreshed and people's memory about how these in the Mao era and this what is the Communist Party and would do. And the second is called the traditional customary and rites, particularly like the family customs. And I think for 1 or 2 years in the television, in newspapers, and in the older medias, and this kind of jiafeng, this became this very popular word, and this thousands of articles be written and books published, TV programs produced, these kind of things. So this is this bring this to the something relevant to our today's issues. Is say this on the one hand, this China is faced with a serious moral declining, and this is this everybody is complaining about this. And this is now this second is aspiration for the China is traditionally is moral and this kind of ritual, this kind of country this here. And then this all the over China's a lot of and this is the Shuyuan, this and this became very, very popular. And also this they call the traditional the Chinese culture, and this is the Chinese learning. This also become this some people even make very, very rich from these kind of things. Then this is and finally, I think this is quite a lot of rights centers and established. In my paper, I give you a few examples. Like in Tsinghua, in Beida, and in Renda, and this is the top university in China. They have the kind of rights centers here. And this is relevance of the ritual. So this means rights, book of rights has come back to this contemporary life. If you remember, from beginning of the 20th century, and ritual, and particularly Confucian rituals have been criticized, attacked, and this as a kind of backward, and all these kind of bad things here. But today it seems rights become popular, fashionable, these kind of things. So this is about this kind of I would call it ritualization trend and in China. And this is the scholars have different views about this. And first, some people say that this is one of the hallmarks for the New Age. So if you are familiar with the contemporary China, you know the New Age, what it means by New Age. And then this is other people would thought this is the political drive for the introducing rituals would to further part of this these values. And then all these kind of things, the different views and among scholars. So this is my background. I spent too much time on this. First I was saying this the 5 key terms. First is heaven, earth. So that is I think this is quite. I'm not. I would not agree with Stephen. You said this is not necessarily should have a foundation, but I think it's a system of rituals and must have some kind of foundation. And you got to place it on there. Otherwise, this ritual, why people would accept this ritual? Why people should follow these kind of things, rules, these kind of things? So this is about this, this Tian and Di, these 2 words, and this I said, as one term, Tian Di, and appeared 84 times, and there. So this is this is at the core of the ritual and the discourse. The second term is called Ben. And in the Li, of course, is throughout all this and text. But this and the second term, I wanted to say this is called Ben. Ben, I would translate as the ontological foundation. This is provided this kind of foundation for the rites. So I give quite a few this and the examples here is and for the government and for the rules of this and code of conduct and also for the rites and rituals, all these kind of things here. So this is not only just the rites, but all things this said it originates from this and Tian and this and heaven and earth. Of course, heaven is just convenient, but not necessarily precise translation. And here, you just simply use it. So there are 2 meanings of Ben. This Ben is here. The one is called all the rites and are rooted in the heaven and earth. So that is should not be in the secular matters or powers. So that is one meaning. And the second meaning, these rights is rooted in heaven and earth. But then all other kind of social institutions and these codes and these things would be rooted in rights. And this is the 2 meanings here. So this is I wouldn't want to say much more about this. How this is Tian Di, this and heaven, earth, and understood and in the text. And I gave a few examples here. So this particularly this kind of they mentioned about 4 pillars. 4 pillars and this heaven, earth, parent, and teacher. And you remember, if you know this China, this ruler, the emperor, all this not in these kind of pillars. These kind of 4 pillars here. So this here is I said rights have their origin and in the orders and laws of heaven, earth. So this is the rights reflect the orderly distinctions and the sequences of heaven, earth. And all these kind of things we can see this in the book of rights, and rights is understood as this derived from this kind of heaven, earth, and this. So second word I want to draw your attention to is called shun. And shun, this is I believe is the right way to rituals. And this is how should a human. And we have this heaven, earth as this kind of our foundation, everything foundation. And how should humans respond to this? And this is I mentioned about this called heaven's image, 天之象, and the rules and laws of heaven, earth, 天地则, and the way of heaven, earth, 天地之道. So how should humans respond to this and these kind of things? And this is this is coming out the word called 顺. And shun, this word, this appeared, this 97 times in the text. And this is and I'll give a few examples, like to be conformed to the times, and to act in accordance with the human feelings, to be in accordance with the spirits, and acting in accordance with the seasons. All these kind of things, this kind of shun is a very quite important word for the understanding of this and human attitude. And there are kind of two kind and the responses or attitude. One is called shun. This is to be in accordance with and to follow. And another called ni. Ni, this kind of be in contradiction with or this against this kind of things. Of course, if you act in contradiction with this heaven and earth, and this would be bring out the disasters and this corruption, all these kind of things. So this is how should be should. This is and there are two ways called 修理. And you cultivate this your li, and this to realize this righteousness. Another called 体性, and this to achieve this kind of 水, this kind of thing. Anyway, this is I also go through this this and this another character called 智. 智 is used to explain how rights came into existence and on what conditions rights should be applied to the society. So 智 and it mentioned 88 times in the text. So this is and 智 and have this kind of this as a noun. It refers to the regulations and the institutions. And it also could be institutes of this and sage kings called 圣王之治. And this as a verb and it really means to frame. This James Legge translates frame and quite a few times. I'm not saying this is a good word, but I just can't think this is better. And to determine, to produce, to institute, or to establish. So, like this, ancient kings framed rights, and in the chapter of the Tan Gong, and this, instituting rights in correspondence with earth, and all this kind of use the 智, this word here. And how to institute rights, and this is also this here. And they mentioned, on a few occasions. So I think my interest is to come to the three conditions or requirements for instituting and rights. And not just and the first is called I call the moral or virtue requirement. So this is not all people are in a position to institute or to make rights. And this is here is the paragraph. Here is say and you have to both have the position and have the virtue. So these two must match together. You are in the position to produce, to make this up the rights. And this is particular mentioned about you got to have the virtue. Your virtue is not matching with your position, you can't do it. This and another is the things called the timing requirement, and I think it's the one Asian kings and and had established their government. They framed or they instituted their ceremonies. So this is use this James Legge's translation. So this is the time. Another is called the function requirement. So instituting and rights itself is not the end, but the means for all the way to the well-governed state. So that is I mentioned. This really is and this end is to reach is correct right conditions, and that is the things. The two rules. And I gave this to cultivating the teachings, to unify governmental measures. These are two rules here. And this is how finally come to the conclusion. And this is my conclusion is proper ritualization must have three prerequisites. And first is to have a strong faith in the power and law beyond the temporary power relationships. And the second, greater aspiration to be in accordance with universal laws and values, rather than just on particular and wishes or these and these the things. And the third, a properly justified institution to accommodate and moderate rules and codes into a value system that meets the moral, time, and the functional requirements. So that is the ritualization must meet these kind of three conditions. So without satisfying these three conditions, rites, ritual, codes or values, all these kind of things will not be able to bring about social order. And second, the rites would not automatically lead to a ritualistic society if they were simply utilized as part of temporary measures to consolidate the political grip on secular powers. So that is my conclusion. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Professor Yao, for refreshing our memories about several things. The photos that you showed, for a start, always strike me as the very tangible sign that China has completely lost, any sense of ritual. The gestures like this, you see, are so, uncreative, unimaginative, and unaesthetic that, you have a very sure sign here that China has completely lost a sense of ritual. You were talking about the reconstruction and recreation, for example, of shuyuan, of academies. Fortunately, we will have tomorrow a presentation on the Korean, soan, the Korean shuyuan, which have kept some kind of relative continuity, but China has destroyed everything and now is reconstructing everything in concrete, painted red. All right. Well, thank you for framing this. Let's say, construction, ritual construction. In a way, you've done the reverse of what the two previous speakers have been doing, sort of emphasizing the fact that the rituals are, sort of fluctuating and very hard to grasp. But you have reframed, the let's say the canonical structuring of rituals. So thank you.